Hey guys, it's Kinley. So I'm making this video today because I feel like I should and that God has led me to make this video. So I'm just going to start from the beginning. I'm making the video of Hagan Rae, our daughter that we lost back in August 8th. And so I'm just going to talk about that for a minute. I don't know how long this video will be, and I don't know, it'll be probably kind of messy, but I felt led to speak about it, so I will. So we lost our daughter. If you don't know, we lost a baby I was almost 15 weeks, but her body was 13 weeks along. And so back after we lost her, I was going to an appointment, and I felt like, I was like, God, I don't really want to share about her. I don't want to talk about it because it's too painful. It comes from a dark place. And so God had talked to me through a podcast by Jen Triangle. Miss Shaylee Mitchell was the one, she was the one speaking, and she was sharing her testimony. And out of all things that she said, God, don't let any of my pain be wasted. And so I knew instantly that that was God speaking to me and saying, Kinley, my prayer instantly was, Lord, don't let any of my pain or my husband's pain or our family's pain be wasted through all of this, and that you are glorified. And so I'm just going to tell you the story from the beginning to the end, and whoever needs to hear it and whoever gets encouragement by it, then that's awesome. That's why I did this. So anyway, 2 weeks before we lost Hagan, I went into the ER. I was having pain, severe pain. I was crying. It was like 1 a.m. and I just said, okay, I'm just gonna have to go get her checked. And so I went in, and they checked her heartbeat, and they sent me home and just told me I had a scheduled appointment next week to see my baby doctor. So they just told me to go home and rest and take it easy. And I just knew when I heard her heartbeat that it didn't sound right. And so I know now that it was the Holy Spirit urging me to go on to get some more help and see what's going on. And so I messaged a lady I consider a friend now. She's an acquaintance, but she owns an ultrasound clinic in Fort Smith. Well, it's just for gender ultrasounds and things like that, but I knew she would send me on further if she saw something concerning. So as soon as she pulled the baby up on the screen, she was just like, yeah, something's not right. And so there was a bubble around our baby that was not supposed to be there. So she said, let me talk to your doctor. So I got my doctor on the phone. Of course, I was overwhelmed at that point. And so I got the doctor on the phone. They had me come up there. So when I got up there, I did a blood test, which was going to tell us genetically what was going on. We sent the ultrasound off to the radiologist, and they told us what they thought it could be. Now, I wouldn't get my results to my blood test till a week later. So anyway, I'm sitting in her office, had gone and given my blood, and so she's talking to me about the radiologist's report, and the report was just that it could be one of few things. Now, at that point, my heart wasn't ready to take it all. Like, I kind of went in one ear and out the other. And so she told me that it could be one of 4 things. 3 of them are trisomy 21, trisomy 18, trisomy 13. Now, trisomy 21 is Down syndrome, and it is compatible with life. The other 2 doctors consider it to not be compatible with life. So that is obviously not the best news when you go into a doctor's office. And so the other one was blood related. So anyway, I had a lot of information that day. I was not, honestly, God had given me strength to just be okay. And so I went on and I just prayed that everything was going to be okay. And I prayed that God, that they're wrong. I prayed, they're wrong, and they don't know what they're talking about. And so I waited a week to get my results. I talked to the doctor. The doctor said our baby had trisomy 18, which is also Edwards syndrome. And so when instantly I looked it up on my phone, it is not the most exciting news to hear about your baby. And if you don't know what that is, look it up. But it is not a very high statistic that your baby will live. It's very low, actually. Most babies don't make it to birth. If they make it to one, if they make it to birth, they usually don't make it to one. Now, there are some exceptions, of course, but it's internal problems. And so anyway, it was overwhelming. And she told me I would see them on Wednesday, and they would send me to a specialist. And so I was like, God, give me faith. Like, help me, Lord. That's all I could pray, was just help me. And so I was just believing that he could heal her. I mean, I know he can. I know he's done it. I know he has the power to do it. So that's just what I started praying, and I started praying for God's will. And this song just started like resonating inside of me. And I don't know if you've ever heard of it, but it's a song by Mercy Me. And it goes, I know you're able, and I know you can save through the fire with your mighty hand. But even if you don't, my hope is you alone. They say it only takes a little faith to move a mountain. Well, good thing, a little faith is all I have right now. But God, when you choose to leave mountains unmovable, oh, give me the strength to be able to sing, it is well with my soul. So as that song just kept playing inside of me, I just said, God, help it to be okay with my soul and your will to be done. And that's all I prayed from that point on. And obviously for her to be healed. So we went in Wednesday. They could not find a heartbeat. And our ultrasound tech there was wonderful as well. God just played just orchestrated this just the way he wanted it to go. And so I met ultrasound tech, and she was so wonderful, and she just was comforting. She was incredible. And we had a doctor come in to give us options about the birth and things. And so we had her naturally. We came home, told our family, went back up there, and they told us we could be in labor for days because my uterus wouldn't be ready to give birth and things like that, so it would just take a while. They didn't even think it would be 24 hours, and so we had kind of prepared. And when we got there, our Pastor Jason Gilmore, got there as soon as we did, before we even started labor. And let me tell you, he is an incredible man, and he showed us the hands and feet of Jesus. Him and everyone else on that staff and my church family, they all did. So anyway, he got there and he prayed with us, and our labor lasted 9 hours, and it was easy. We got to hold her for 2.5 hours, and that was wonderful. And she was so teeny tiny and perfect. And so the hardest part for me was obviously saying goodbye and letting her go. And so, I told Tyler, I just said, because she was at 13 weeks, so how the hospital does it, they usually, if a baby passes away, then the funeral home has to come get them. But in our case, it wasn't like that because she was really little, and so we could either take her if I signed off a release. I could have had the funeral home come, but it wasn't even about that. Or they could have taken her at the hospital. And so I just told Tyler and Pastor Jason, I said, I won't have peace if I leave her here. I won't be okay, and I won't sleep at night. And so Pastor Jason just instantly said, well, we're not doing that then. And he went to Walmart and he got her a box, and we put her in the box, and I signed off on a piece of paper that he could take her. And he took her for me. We prayed, and he took her for me. And he will never know how special he is to me and my husband for that. So honestly, we didn't know what he was going to do with her. I just knew that he would take her and figure it out. Like, I didn't think we were going to have a grave or a memorial or anything like that. I just knew that he would take care of her. And so I handed her over and he took her. We went home. We got discharged the next day. I went to sleep. When I had woken up, they had buried her for me, and Sister Michelle had decorated her grave, and it was just the most special thing that they could have ever done for me. And so anyway, I got on here because I just wanted to talk to you guys, about God's faithfulness through everything. And you say, Kinley, like, how is God faithful to you? Like, you prayed for healing and it didn't come, and you lost a baby, and why aren't you mad at God? And honestly, I am thankful to God, as crazy as that sounds. I'll tell you why. On the day of the ER, they told me the pain was not related. So now I know that was God's way of getting me in, getting me help, so that I knew why she passed away, that God gave me the answers. Honestly, he gave me the answers that she would have struggled in this life, and I couldn't have handled that as a mother either. And so he allowed me to know what she would have dealt with in this life, and it gave us a lot of peace to move forward. Also, that same week, my husband was laid off of his job, and then he got his job back 2 days after we gave birth, and so he was able to be with me through everything. And you can't tell me that was not God. Like, he arranged this whole situation, and so my husband got to be with me through everything and not have to worry about work or anything like that. Also, the Sunday before we lost her, I'm on the worship team at church, and Pastor Jason asks one of us to deliver devotion on Sundays, and a girl named Amanda didn't know that she was about to give a devotion to me, but she was. And so God had laid it on her heart to talk about, when we first become Christians, like, we're so excited and we talk about God's healing and all the great things that God did. And then we get a little further in our faith and we see in the Bible that there were times that people that love the Lord with all their heart, bad things happened to them. And do we look at that and say, did God love them any less? Or just because, where do we find the balance of God is still good even through our pain and through our tribulation and things? And so she said, but in every instance in the Bible, whether someone was a martyr or went through some horrible things in their faith, either God was glorified or the gospel was spread. And so through this situation, I want that to be the case. I want God to get the glory from this, because he kept us through this whole situation. He was there. He is there. We feel him right now. We know this was his plan for Hagan, and so we're able to move forward. But I just, she didn't realize she was speaking to me, and she was. And so I heard that a few days before she was born. And then just the way everything played out, it was so, I don't have any other words, but orchestrated by God. And so I pray that Hagan's life, I pray that it was not wasted, and that someone needed to hear this today. But I also wanted to just say that thank you to my church and my family and my friends for just being so wonderful and loving on us and showing us the Christ and showing us the church, because they did, every one of them. And so we are so thankful for that. But my point to jump on here today was, I just pray that through our trials, and I know that God's just giving us a steadfastness in our faith, and so we are doing really well. For everyone who's wondering, I'm sad today. I've just had a hard day, and so I've been putting this video